Sup team, I just want to start this off. I mentioned this later, but I'm just going to say it now as it's actually really annoying. I'm not going to turn off the noise reduction for this part just so you can hear it, but I'm in my dorm. I have a box fan. It's pretty loud, so I used the noise reduction on this audio, like the recording you're about to hear, not this, to cut it out, but it actually kind of made it sound like poopy butt farts, and it made me sound slobbery. Whoever you are, you're never living down that comment, by the way. I was called slobbery in my first ever Deltarune video. But yeah, just I'll preface it. This video sounds bad in the audio department. My bad. Out of my control. If y'all care that much about the fan, let me know. That's why I'm putting this here as a comparison. But yeah, enjoy. Sup team, and do y'all remember this? Chapter 1's ending left us in an inescapable mind prison for 3 years and some change. That was 3 years of pure mania, but that's not what we're going to talk about here. Cut to the end of those 3 years, and that was pretty cool, right? But why are we thinking it's going to happen every single time for the rest of the game? So yeah, sup team. That right there was a prime example of Tricky Tony subverting us in Deltarune. Like, for Christ's sake, we thought Kara Dreamer was coming back. We at least thought that Chris was going to fucking kill somebody, but no. They just wanted some pie. Now, for the record, I love this scene very much. It is such a good ending, and this video is not me dissing that scene at all. But it is a good jumping off point for what started my train of thought. And what I think this ending has caused, because I believe that this ending has made a lot of the community believe that Toby Fox, and by extension, the Deltarune team, will be subverting our expectations in the game, just because. I've mainly seen this come up when people discuss the suspiciously human soul-colored flowers inside of Asgore's shop, and there's been so many cool ideas to come out of these things. But those cool, bomb-ass ideas, I might pull some up right now, if I care to edit this, those ideas have gotten so popular that many people have begun to doubt that anything like that would even happen, that the flowers would not have any significance. Like, in fact, I've seen people say that those flowers won't mean a single thing, like, at all, which, I'm sorry, but I don't think those colors were chosen by accident, like Picasso style, but whatever. I don't think I need to elaborate that much on why those flowers meaning literally nothing would completely suck, because, like, that would mean, like I said, that those flowers were A, either colored on accident, or B, they were just done to basically screw with us, which works sometimes, because, you know, Chapter 1's ending, right? That absolutely screwed with us, but it worked because we didn't know what to expect, and that cliffhanger kind of fed into that idea of what the hell am I playing, you know what I mean? But in addition, something like the flowers meaning nothing would be in contrast to the rest of the entire game so far, where everything's been done purposefully. Like, the Dreamer's TV didn't start smiling at the end of Chapter 2 for no reason, and the Knight seemingly didn't take Undyne for no reason at the end of Chapter 3, and, you know, literally everything Chris did at the end of Chapter 2 wasn't for no reason, actually, from, like, you know, the tires to the cracking the door open to plugging in the TV. Actually, that might have happened in Chapter 1, I forget. But I want to go back to Chapter 1's ending for a third time now, because that, from what I can tell, is the only major example we have of, like, a super big part of Deltarune being some goofy subversion. And yet, I think it has had so much influence on how people think Deltarune will play out. Like, it has gotten to the point where some people believe freaking WD Gaster will be nothing, which is really funny. really funny. Holy newgens! But yeah, I would like to go over why not every single plot point in Deltarune will play out like Chapter 1's ending, and I want to go over why the entirety of Deltarune won't just be Tony's devious tricks. Toby Fox does not use subversion for subversion's sake. Let's get into it. So before we get into it though, I want to say I am in my dorm right now, and low-key, while I'm recording this, since it's not my home address, I think I'm going to drop hints to where I am. I don't know, I'll make it like an ARG, but if you guys end up finding it, come find me. But actually, I'm just going to drop one big hint right now. I saw this on Wplays. pull it up right now, editing Ruben Daniel King. I want to know who made this, because there's a non-0% chance you're watching, so there goes my phone. My phone's even excited. Please, if you made this, let me know, bro. I would like to meet you. I want to preface all of this by saying that obviously I don't know Toby Fox or any of the Deltarune team personally. I see a lot of people almost act like they can read the guy's mind, but what I can understand about Fox is how he writes. I can't, completely predict what will happen in Deltarune. Like, you know what? Maybe the flowers won't mean nothing. Maybe WD freaking Gaster will be a goofy little goober. I don't know. But I wholeheartedly doubt it based on how Fox has thrown curveballs at us in the past. Now, for examples of this, we have got to look at Undertale, and I think the most significant curveball in the whole game is honestly Flowey's just entire character. Like, right out of the gate, that little dude hits us with a malicious lie, turning from a cute flower into a shit-eating pollen bitch. And then he hits us with whatever the hell Photoshop Flowey was, before hitting us with the fact that he is Asriel Dreamer, like the most evil dude we've met in the whole game. Also got revealed to be the most sympathetic character that was at the center of a pivotal tragedy in the story. There was no way that any of us were catching that curveball, and it would have hit me in the face. That ball would have gone. Now, Flowey wasn't revealed to be Asriel for no reason. It wasn't just for shits and kicks. Throughout the entire game, Flowey was challenging Undertale's pacifist message the most. Why in the world shouldn't we just kill this guy? We can freaking hit him with love me not, and just end all our problems, but then pow. That's why. Because there are no flat main characters in Undertale, they just aren't. If Flowey stayed as a one-note villain, would it have felt satisfying for the pacifist quote-unquote twist to be that Flowey's irredeemable? I guess that would kind of be a twist, but not really, because we already knew at that point that Flowey was a piece of shit, so most people would expect to kill him, honestly. And in addition, would that have felt satisfying through the snippets of the true Flowey, aka Asriel, that we get to see under the surface at the end of the neutral route? That just wouldn't have been satisfying. That would have been foreshadowing without payoff. And that is my main gripe with the quote-unquote tricky Tony mentality that a lot of people have made up for Deltarune. That's what I'm going to call, quote, using Subversion for the sake of Subversion from now on, by the way. Just tricky Tony. It feels appropriate. Anyway, Flowey represents my main gripe with the tricky Tony mentality. That blatant foreshadowing will not pay off solely to screw with the player. It wouldn't have been realistic at all for Fox to have just given us bits of Flowey's true self after we defeated his Photoshop form, just to quote-unquote reveal that Flowey's a one-note character after all. And I say reveal with the heaviest quotations possible, because things like that don't even feel like reveals. They feel more like a slap in the face. Of course, if that foreshadowing of Flowey's true nature didn't exist, then something like that would at least be fair, but there is foreshadowing, and not letting that play out isn't an example of clever subversion. It's more like a cryptocurrency rug pull. If a writer wants to completely gobsmack somebody, then it needs to be satisfying. Even Undertale's genocide route, which is intentionally composed of the most unsatisfying, grueling gameplay outside the boss fights, still leaves people feeling satisfied because of how effective the story is. Take Mettaton NEO, for example, arguably the game's biggest example of a bait and switch. He is known for being a one-hit kill who's hyped up as an ultimate killing machine. Gameplay aside, that is exactly what we were looking for when we were playing the genocide route. Now, lack of gameplay aside, this is exactly what we were really looking for when playing the genocide route in a twisted, indirect sort of way. Because Undertale is all about the impact of player choice, and players doing a no mercy run wanted to just see what would happen if they got absurdly strong by slaughtering monsters. And we got to see that on full display with Mettaton NEO. Sure, a lot of us might say that Mettaton NEO was unsatisfying because he deserved a boss fight, but I think the most popular blind players show it best. Roll the tape!
It's showtime. We about to start dancing. Oh! Mettaton NEO?
Whoa! Mettaton NEO blocks the way!
Whoa! Mettaton NEO?
Just like that!
This is gonna be crazy. Yeah! Oh.
Fucking hell, that is like...
That's it! No! I wanted to fight! I thought there was gonna be a cool fight!
Just like that, Mettaton's gone. Everyone is going down like so easy.
It's so unfulfilling, which is the point of the whole thing, and it's awesome that way, but oh god, I feel all cold and dark and dead.
Everybody that I've seen go into this fight blind have just come out shocked. They may say they're disappointed, they may say, oh, but where's the fight? But that initial shock they had in some of their faces or voices is what matters. That is what I mean by satisfaction. Not necessarily feeling good about what happened, but still being invested enough where the twist shocks you without ruining the experience. Again, nobody who said they were disappointed in these clips actually just dogged on the game for it and completely dropped it out for rage, like, oh, where's my Mettaton NEO? No, everybody that I picked here, pretty confident that they went on to Sans and beat Sans. So, Mettaton NEO was a super effective example of a bait-and-switch type of subversion because even though it makes players say they're unsatisfied, it still scratches that itch that comes with playing a genocide route. It had a reason to exist and it had a theme to fulfill. In an indirect way, it paid off. This is the direct opposite of the, quote, Tricky Tony mentality, because if Tricky Tony was Fox's real, like, I don't know, brain parasite, then Mettaton wouldn't have even transformed. He probably would have just moped around about, oh, I'm not a good killing machine, and then just walked off screen to cry even more, like, woo, 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 robotic cryings. But that would have been downright boring, and that would have led to actual dissatisfaction. Like, everyone who said they weren't satisfied would have actually been bored, and probably dropped the game for like a week or two. I know I would have. I would have been tired. That would be the most blatant example of pulling a fast one on the players just to pull a fast one. But that's not how Fox approached it. Like I said, Fox made us invested in the Subversion. Now. I hate to drag the hellspawn that is Five Nights at Freddy's into this, bro. But it is such a good example of why doing these crypto rug pull type of subversions just suck. Like, the FNAF 4 box was confirmed to be there just because, within my memory, because Cawthon himself forgot why it was even there. That's bad. That left many, including myself, I am still salty, left many of us unsatisfied in the literal bad way. And that's what many people believe will happen in Deltarune. But a FNAF 4 box incident simply just won't happen in Deltarune. Like, that's not me glazing Toby Fox's writing or anything, but just making, like, relatively simple observations about it, not calling anybody dumb. But I'm just saying, I think we kind of forgot about some of these things. We've kind of forgotten that Fox has had the opportunity to do so many literary rug pulls before, through Mettaton NEO and Flowey, Photoshop Lobby Azrael, but he hasn't. And since it's been that way on multiple occasions, I fail to see why he would just suddenly change how he approaches Subversion, I don't know what to call them, Subversion scenes halfway into Deltarune. Now, I want to make it clear that I've seen lots of people predict that certain foreshadowing won't matter in Deltarune as a joke, obviously. But I've seen the same amount of people genuinely believing that WD Gaster is just there for funsies. My friend, in my best friend Discord chat, actually I'm just gonna say it, bro. Uncapo, bro, thinks Gaster is there for kids and chickles. We need to clown this guy. If you got this far, comment clown capo. Hashtag clown capo. That's, he's so mean. But no, but really, if you just simply look at how Fox has, like, actually handled Subversion in the past, then you'll realize that he typically doesn't utilize foreshadowing how Chapter 1's end. And actually, this isn't the script, but I just realized Chapter 1's ending isn't even foreshadowing. Like, that's kind of the biggest reason why it didn't work. It was more so just a cliffhanger turned into a goofy thing, but it didn't really have much indications, I guess, besides the fact that Chris has a knife, then could be the knight, but that discussion is kind of more warranted by the game in Chapter 2 anyway, and where Chris made a fountain, so, I don't know, I'm just saying. Chapter 1's ending worked in different circumstances, but it's kind of a one-off case. But yeah, so he just Fox doesn't utilize foreshadowing like that. Tricky Tony is not a real person and cannot hurt you. Now, I want to bring up one more point. This isn't only a recent thing. Actually, this whole thing's not recent. I recorded this for the first time before I left for college a week and a half ago. And I'm redoing it now in my dorm, now that I'm kind of all settled in. Because I didn't like the first recording. I think I made a post about it. But, like, within the last year, I've seen people basically deem Fox as the, like, Subversion guy. Which I think just discredits him as a writer so much that there's no way that I can't make this part sound like I'm glazing donuts here, but it's still something that I feel like needs to be said. Now, of course, Toby Fox is still good at subverting player expectations, like that's been the entire premise of this video. I've been showing why he did it right in Undertale, but many people chalk him up to being all about subversions, and then they use that false assumption as evidence for assuming that Deltarune's foreshadowing will be out of, like, spite or something, because that's an easy way to quote-unquote shock people. I think that this discussion really started bubbling over with the mics at the end of chapter 4. Many people have taken the mics as proof that Fox thinks we're all stupid little ditty blood theorists with our friend inside me's and our fluies, and that he's going to keep playing us like a goddamn fiddle solely out of spite. But that couldn't be further from the case. Like, bro, all 3 of the mics are based off of fan designs, showing that they were clearly made out of care rather than spite. Hashtag love wins. Why would the Deltarune team show clear appreciation for fan works and spit on them in the same room and boss fight? It just wouldn't make any sense, so no. Deltarune will not have tricky twists and turns just to spite us. At least I don't think it will. I don't think it'd be satisfying if it does, but just in general, pretty safe to say that it won't. Not only would it just be unsatisfying, like I said before, it's just not how Fox has shown himself to usually approach such tropes in writing. My phone is in agreement. Only seeing Fox as a subversion mastermind, and nothing else, implies that he doesn't even really care about what he writes, because that's kind of like, as long as nobody can follow it, then it shall be written. My phone's going off, I'm so sorry, bro. Deltarune will not have dumb, pointless foreshadowing. Thanks, Bixby. But also calling Toby just the Subversion guy kind of completely discredits how well written every character in Undertale, or at least main character in Undertale and Deltarune are. Like, Papyrus didn't need to twirl his mustache and throw an unwarranted bombshell at us, he just needed to be Papyrus. What I'm getting at is that Toby's most iconic scenes have been ones without subversion. Of course, the times he used them are iconic as well, see Flowey and Mettaton NEO, but the majority of his iconic things aren't subversion. Like, aren't crazy, shocking types of subversion, rather. What I've been trying to get at for the whole video is that Toby Fox does not write just to create subversions. He doesn't make the subversion first. He doesn't put the icing on his plate first, and then bake the cake. He bakes the cake first, doctors it all up, and then gets the icing on it. You get what I'm saying, team? You get what the hell I'm putting down? He naturally adds subversions, thinks about them after, from what I can tell, whenever they make sense and are actually satisfying. So, in layman's terms, he's just a good fucking writer, and I kind of want to remind everybody about that. So, foreshadowing in Deltarune is absolutely going to matter. Shocking, I know. Obviously, Deltarune's more than likely not going to play out in the same way we expect. That would kind of be crazy. Like, imagine if Vision Crew ends up being right. I would actually kind of cry, because I'm sure some of them are watching this, but man, y'all gotta stop remaking shit, man. Y'all got it the first time. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but y'all got it the first time. It won't be in the way we expect, as is the nature of fan predictions, but Deltarune's story isn't going to give us a wedgie and hang us out on the flagpole either. I'm pretty confident that the story is in good hands. I thank you all for watching, team. Count how many syllables that was and comment down below. We're going back to preschool with this one. But thanks for watching. I'm hoping to get some semblance of a schedule again. I'm just kind of like more comfortable now in my dorm. So I think break time's over. Time to lock back in. and I can't lie to y'all, I want to make money. That Jebel video that y'all watched, thank you for the support, by the way, made me bank. At least by my standards, made me bank. So, make sure to subscribe so that I get paid more. Even though I don't think, no, it's just from ads. But still, thank you. If you watch this far, then you have milked the corporation's pockets for me. Thanks. Make sure to subscribe. Join the Discord server, link down in the description. Consider channel memberships, $2.99. You'll get early stuff, editing streams. Honestly, they might slow down, just because I might do it, when my roommate's in the room, and I don't want to talk during it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and sayonara.